At Isabella Vance and Julian Croft's engagement party, I suddenly found myself reborn as the Vance family's adopted son. I glanced up at Isabella, the woman who was supposed to marry me. She was 5'6", stunning, with sharp features that gave her an Ice Queen CEO vibe. Her hand was hooked around Julian Croft's pale, delicate arm as they slowly walked to the center of the stage. Let's give a warm round of applause to congratulate Mr. Julian Croft and Miss Isabella Vance on their engagement, wishing them a long and happy life together. I clapped along with everyone else, my hands moving automatically. But in her eyes, I wasn't even worth considering. Fine. Let her fall into the Croft family's mess. I'll just inherit the Vance family's $10 billion fortune. Then I'll put out a recruitment ad with her exact height and measurements. College girls will be lined up outside my office. The thought made a little drool slip from the corner of my mouth. I wiped it quickly. No way I'd ruin this moment and accidentally stop her from walking straight into Julian's trap. On stage, Isabella paused. She looked around, then locked eyes with me. Why is this Ice Queen staring at me? Does she think I'm still her loyal little lapdog? Newsflash. Lady haven't been that in 500 years. She seemed to decide something. Nodding faintly, she lifted the hem of her designer gown and walked straight toward me. That incredible figure wasting it on Julian Croft was a crime against nature. Then without warning, Isabella grabbed my hand. Ethan, she whispered, her voice low. I'll be happy with the Crofts, won't I? Of course, I said, putting on my most envious look. Julian's charming, a real stand-up guy. He'll definitely treat you right. I was laughing. Once this party ended, Julian would lock her in some back room. But the truth? The guy was completely impotent, all for show. Aside from drooling on her and maybe playing around with a riding crop, he couldn't do a thing. She'd just have to endure it until the novel's real protagonist showed up years later to rescue her. After all, she was destined to be one of his many women. That thought that he'd get a dozen gorgeous women while I couldn't even rank as a spare tire maid. My teeth grind. No, I needed focus. Inherit the $10 billion, marry a supermodel, live the high life. I gently pushed Isabella forward, closer to Julian, who stepped over and wrapped an arm around her waist. Bella, don't worry, he cooed. A treat. You like a queen? I'll cherish you, protect you, keep you safe in my heart. Ugh. I wanted to puke. Why would a goddess CEO fall for a pretty boy like him? Because they're both pale? They can shop for makeup together? Tragic, a real man? Like me, wasn't even backup material. Damn fate. I stepped back, giving them space. But Isabella suddenly shoved Julian's arm away and rushed to grab me again. Ethan, you said Julian isn't a real man and that I shouldn't marry him. I'll make him prove it to you right now. What? When did I ever say that out loud? Lies. Just because she's beautiful doesn't mean she can twist reality. People had eyes. I looked at Julian. A flash of malice crossed his face, like he was imagining tearing me apart piece by piece. The 4 linebackers behind him stepped forward. Panicking, I scrambled toward Julian. Julian, my man, don't listen to her. You're handsome, you've always been my idol. The lies flowed out so easily, I almost believed them myself. Julian just patted my shoulder, walked past me, and turned back to Isabella. Dropping to one knee, he pulled out a ring. Bella, my love for you is like a mighty river endlessly flowing, like the stars in the sky forever shining, like the rock of Gibraltar immovable and true. Marry me. Rose petals rained down from the ceiling, the picture of romance. Isabella lifted her hand as Julian slid the ring closer. Come on, say I. Do put the ring on, go home with Julian. By the time your parents arrive, I'll tell them he's holding you captive. Then the $10 billion inheritance is mine. My life of luxury finally begins. Wait, why didn't she pull her hand back? Instead, Isabella suddenly grabbed the microphone from the stand. To all our friends and family, she said firmly, my parents are on their way. I've had a moment to think, and I've decided it's best to wait until they arrive before finalizing the engagement. A wave of murmurs spread through the crowd, confusion rippling as every eye turned to her. Is this girl doing? She's completely off script. It doesn't matter if it's today or 2 days from now, the guy's still a fraud. Bella, don't you believe in my love? Julian clutched his chest dramatically, putting on a heart-wrenching performance. He looked so pitiful it was almost comical. Lucky for him he wasn't a woman. But this time, Isabella was unmoved, brow furrowed, and her sharp eyes locked onto me. "Ethan Vance," she declared. "I've decided to give you a chance. You and Julian can compete for my affection. Fair and square. Me. Compete with Julian over a woman. Please. Even if I won, I'd still just be the son-in-law marrying into the family. That's nothing. Compared to the empire I was destined to build," I raised my right hand immediately. "Bella, I've always seen you as a sister. Julian is talented. Handsome, you two are a perfect match. A match made in heaven." The things I could say with a straight face were astounding. I even walked over to Julian and clapped him on the shoulder. "Listen, buddy. Just slide me 10 million, and as your future brother-in-law, you have my blessing." Without hesitation, Julian pulled a glittering AMX black card from his jacket and slipped it toward me. "Don't worry, brother-in-law. Once Bella joins the Croft family, I'll have an even bigger gift for you." I slid the card into my pocket. A bigger gift? Yeah, right. He meant stealing the Vance fortune, taking over the entire state of Illinois, and then tossing me scraps like I was some stray dog. Real generous. As Julian smugly turned back toward Isabella, she had already bolted from the ballroom by the time. I grabbed an Uber back to the Vance estate. Isabella was already changed out of her gown, lounging in expensive loungewear and nibbling on brie. "Ethan, my parents will be back tonight," she said coldly. "Have you figured out how you're going to explain this to them?" "Explain what? Weren't you the one desperate to marry Julian?" I replied, walking over and sitting beside her. "Don't worry, Bella. I'll make sure they approve." "Prove? My ass." She hurled the entire wedge of cheese at my face, splattering me with creamy darkness. Before I could react, she kicked me in the stomach. Just like when we were kids, she sat on my gut and started pounding away with her fists. At that point, all sense of dignity was gone. I reached out blindly, trying to grab her. She just laughed mockingly, rolled over, wiped the cheese off my face, and was about to retaliate when Isabella's parents walked in. How could parents be this kind and gentle? It was tragic knowing that, in 2 days, Bella would be tricked into the Croft family's clutches, and they'd follow her only to be killed. But this time, I was here. Bella could leave without worry. I'd protect them and make sure their golden years were peaceful, lost in thought. I barely noticed Isabella rushing into her parents' arms. "Dad, Ethan was bullying me." "Seriously? The attacker plays the victim?" But of course, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Blood is thicker than water. I left to wash the cheese and milk off my face. When I came back, Isabella was gone. Her parents sat calmly on the couch. Her father, Robert Vance, spoke first. "Ethan, even though you call me Dad, your mother and I have always hoped you and Bella would end up together." I sighed. Isabella gorgeous, wealthy legs for days, who wouldn't want her? Simped after her for over a decade, thinking I'd finally thawed the ice around her heart. But no, it turned out there was a whole iceberg underneath. "Dad, you can't force these things," I said, pretending to be calm. "Since Bella likes Julian, I sincerely wish them the best." Delivery was flawless, worthy of an Oscar. Just as I was mentally patting myself on the back, Catherine Vance stood and took my hand. "Ethan, I know Bella has neglected you in the past, but she just told us she doesn't want to marry into the Croft family. She said the person she likes is you?" "What? If she doesn't marry Julian, how do I inherit the $10 billion? Without the $10 billion, how do I get close to the protagonist's future mother-in-law? Without her, how do I become the protagonist's father-in-law and ride his coattails to greatness? No, this isn't how the plot was supposed to go. My behavior must have been too out of character. I must have already altered the story. It looked like I had to go back to being a simp. I had to make Isabella believe I was always waiting for her. Her people never cherish what comes to easily. Decision made, I excused myself from her parents and ran toward Isabella's room. But I froze at the door. In the memories I'd inherited, Isabella always kept her door locked without exception too. Keep me out. But now, the door was slightly ajar. Had the sun risen in the west? I swallowed the words I had prepared, went downstairs, and grabbed a fruit platter from one of the maids. Then I pushed the door open. Isabella was lying on her stomach on the bed, reading a book. Her long, straight legs rested against the comforter, kicking rhythmically. "Bella, I washed some fruit for you. Have some." I carefully peeled a grape, removed the seeds, and held it up to her lips. "Come on, slap my hand away. Tell me to get lost. Tell me to go find your precious Julian." But instead, why was she opening her mouth? "Those grapes are no good," she said softly, then swallowed. "Thank you, Ethan. What in the world was happening? Was this woman broken? Or was my act not convincing enough, and she'd gotten the wrong idea? No, I had to fix her perception. I let my hand drift closer to her body, forcing a greedy, lecherous expression. "Come on, slap me. Tell me I'm a toad dreaming of swan meat." Instead, she reached out and touched my hand. Her touch was so soft. Suddenly, Isabella sat up and tilted my chin with her fingers. From that angle, her dominant queen aura was overwhelming. If I hadn't been conditioned by years of internet nonsense, I might have had a nosebleed. "Whatever you want to do, Ethan," she whispered. "Just be bold and do it." Then she retracted her hand and calmly went back to reading her book. "What? Is this really how an Ice Queen CEO is supposed to act? She developed a thing for simps? Something feels very, very wrong." I quickly left the Vance estate, taking the black card Julian had given me, and headed to a high-end club called Elysium. But the bouncer at the door stopped me. "Where do you think you're going, street rat?" "Look." He pointed at a discreet sign. "Minimum spend $15,000. I pulled out the AMX black card and slapped him in the face with it. "You snob, recognize this?" The bouncer grabbed his cheek, ready to call back up until he saw the card. His demeanor flipped instantly. He bowed a full 90. "My apologies, sir. Please, right this way." I patted his shoulder and walked. Inside, the floor manager came, and we immediately got to business. $500,000, not a penny less, he said. $400,000, my absolute best, I countered. Damn, what a ripoff. A card worth $10 million, and they'd only give me $400,000 in cash. I turned to leave, ears sharp, waiting. Unbelievably, I almost reached the door, and the manager hadn't called me back, so I spun around, grabbed a $100 bottle of Fiji water. Off a table, cracked it open, and drank it down. I set it back, just a little thirsty. The manager forced a smile. $450,000. Final offer, deal. We shook hands, and as soon as the $450,000 landed in my account, I walked out. "Come back soon, sir," he called after me, staring at the six-figure balance on my phone. I decided to head to a trendy food truck park in the West Loop. "Sir, here are your grilled cheese bites. Truffle fries, mini sliders, oyster po' boys, and 100 margarita pizzas. Box it all up." I tapped my phone to pay, got the address for Sunlight Children's Home, and started walking with the mountain of food. But I hadn't even made it to the next block when I saw bulldozers lining. "Up, you old fool!" a man in a black jacket yelled, jumping down. "I told you we're demolishing this place tonight. If you don't get these brats out of here, do you expect me to bury them for you?" The director, Mr. Peterson, braced his back against the iron gate, looking kindly at the small children peering out from behind him. "It's okay, children. Don't be afraid. Go back to bed. Grandpa's here. They won't dare do anything." The man in black kicked the gate a few times, then walked over to a black sedan parked nearby. The window rolled down. "You idiot. Can't you handle one simple thing?" Julian Croft stepped out of the car. He had his men line up, each holding an unlit torch. He pulled out a lighter and went down the line, igniting each one. "Throw them hard." The torches sailed over the fence, landing in the yard. Mr. Peterson immediately opened the gate and rushed inside to carry the children out. Julian climbed back into his car, and soon the strong stench of gasoline filled the air. The man in Black hesitated, then waved for the bulldozers to advance. So this was the backstory between him and the protagonist. No wonder, when the protagonist grew up, he not only destroyed him financially, but also exposed all his dirty secrets to the world. Dozens of children cried their eyes out as the old director gathered them across the street in front of a motel. "Get out of here. Go on, get the motel owner snapped. Mr. Peterson, you're blocking my entrance? How am I supposed to run a business?" Just as he was about to kick them while they were down, I walked up, phone in one hand, showing my bank balance, arms full of food in the other. "Mr. Peterson," I said, "this is a wire transfer for $500,000. Please find a new place for the children." As I spoke, I glanced at the dozens of scared, disheveled kids. In the original novel, it only said the immortal cultivator was reborn in the body of one of the orphans, but it never gave a name. Still, if I made a good impression on the protagonist now, maybe when he began his path to power, he'd give me a little boost. Then life wouldn't just be about marrying a supermodel and living large. I could become an elder in his future organization, live for centuries. "Young man, you are so kind. What's your name?" Mr. Peterson asked. "I'm an adopted son of the Vance family," I replied. "If you ever need anything, you can always find me." With that, I turned and disappeared from the old director's sight. I returned to the estate, opened the door to my room, ready for a shower and bedwind. Something on my bed moved. I flicked on the light. "Isabella, what the hell are you doing? Haven't you ever heard of personal space? It's the middle of the night. What if someone gets the wrong idea?" "Ethan, where have you been at this hour?" she asked. I rubbed my back and pretended to be drunk. I was at Elysium. The girls there are really something. Perfect scumbag player persona. "Now, come on, slap me and storm out." Instead, Isabella shot up from the bed and stood in front of me. "Where did you get the money?" "From your boyfriend Julian, of course. But to really cement your new impression of me, I have to play that part. What's the big deal if a man spends a little money out on the town? I'd advise you not to get too involved. In the future, you just worry about raising the kids." I brushed past her, threw back the covers, collapsed into bed. "There. That has to make you completely give up on me." Snore, snore. The next morning, I'd barely finished 2 bowls of oatmeal when Isabella dragged me out the door toward an auction house. "Ethan, there's $100 million on this card. If you can successfully bid on something valuable, we'll split the profits 50/50ths. Huh, an offer like that. But it's not like I have X-ray vision. How was I supposed to spot a treasure? Then again, even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. If any of the protagonist's special items appeared, I could buy them in advance. That'd be another favor in the bank. I took the card. "Don't worry, no treasure can escape." My discerning eye. We walked into the auction house. The men were dressed in sharp-tailored suits, while the women carried themselves with elegance. After the auctioneer introduced the various tycoons in attendance, he invited everyone to be seated. A tall model, easily over 6 feet, appeared on stage in a flowing red silk dress. She carried a bronze cup. This artifact was discovered in the tomb of an ancient noble family. Drinking wine from this cup is said to promote longevity. Longevity? Who are you kidding? This thing has been buried for who knows how many years. Drinking from it would probably just give you food poisoning. I immediately raised my paddle. 1 million. The Vance family bids 1 million. Isabella turned and shot me a disdainful look. Everyone knew the unspoken rule at these auctions. Smaller families bid first, and the major players raise the stakes later, by jumping in right away. I was basically forcing the smaller families to fold. 1 million going once. 1 million going twice. Sold for 1 million. Congratulations. I couldn't believe it. The entire state of Illinois, no one dared compete with the Vance family. All those scenes of frantic bidding in novels. Fake. "Congratulations to the Vance family on acquiring our first lot," the auctioneer announced. The second and third items came up quickly. 10,000,006. I raised my paddle again. This horn must have belonged to some ancient demonic beast. It's an essential piece of equipment for the protagonist's journey. If I get it now, that's Another huge favor for him later. Just as I was congratulating myself, an old man next to me unexpectedly raised his paddle. 50 million, no way. This is a must-have for the protagonist. I can't lose it. 100 million, I countered immediately. The old man leaned in to confer with his assistants. Just as the auctioneer called going twice, he raised his paddle again. 200 million. The crowd erupted into shocked whispers. To them, it was just a horn. Even if it was ancient, it was still just a horn. 300 million.
It's not my money.
Once I solidify my image as a reckless spendthrift in Isabella's eyes, she'll have no choice but to give up on me and return to her crafts. I'd not only inherit the $10 billion fortune, but also secure a good impression with the protagonist no one else bid. I won the horn. By now, the model brought out the final Atoma suit of warrior's armor. Everyone in the room, except me, shot to their feet in excitement. It's just a material object. Once I learned the protagonist's divine techniques, this armor wouldn't even withstand a single punch. But to keep up my image as a prodigal son, I need to make a show. The moment the auctioneer set the gavel down and announced the starting bid of 10 million, I jumped to my feet and raised my paddle. 1 billion. Those three simple words froze. More than a dozen family representatives in their seats. Still a few in the front row called out bids. 3 billion, Julian Croft said smoothly, scanning the room. I hope you'll all give the Croft family some face on this. No one else moved. He sat down and leaned toward Isabella. Bella, if you agree to come with me to City Hall and get our marriage license, this suit of armor is yours. Spend money to make money. Julian, you're not as dumb as you look. Wait, where's she going? I hurried after Isabella as she left the auction house, following her to the most expensive shopping mall on Michigan Avenue. That one? That one? No, not that one. Bag up all the rest for him, she waved dismissively, buying out half the inventory of a luxury handbag store. I staggered out with the bag stand on my left arm, 10 on my right, and another 10 slung around my neck. This spendthrift. But all of this is still part of the $10 billion fortune I'm destined to inherit. As soon as we reached a clothing boutique, Isabella grabbed dozens of outfits and disappeared into a dressing room. I dropped the mountain of bags in the seating. Arian collapsed onto a sofa. Just then, a few women with heavy makeup, so much foundation on their faces, it looked like they could bake a cake, strolled up to me. Hey, handsome, want to go upstairs and have some fun? Upstairs? Was there some kind of special service here? But no, I was a good person, even though I wanted Isabella to think I was a scumbag. I had no intention of actually becoming one. Not interested. You're not my type. The lead woman heard this, puffed out her chest, and stepped closer. You don't know if you like the food until you've had a taste? Seriously? I'm the adopted son of the Vance family, for crying out loud. Can't. These people, read the room, get lost, or I'll call security for sexual harassment. Oh, listen to him, she sneered. It's always the men harassing the women. What? Afraid we're going to eat you alive? The other two women started grabbing at me, tugging at my clothes. 7 hells. Just as I tried to shake them off, 2 towering security guards walked over. The lead woman suddenly ripped her own collar and shrieked, "Help! Assault! He's assaulting me!" What the hell? Is this how a honey trap works? The 2 guards, both over 6 feet, didn't ask a single question. They lunged for me. I tried to resist, even attempted a cool-looking kick, but my body wasn't nearly as athletic as my imagination. In seconds, they had me pinned to the floor. I pointed desperately at the pile of designer bags stacked on the sofa. But can't. You see, I'm a customer here. The guards ignored me and started dragging me toward the exit. Fine. If the polite way doesn't work, I'll have to get nasty. I stomped hard on one guard's foot. He stumbled back, hopping in pain. Seizing the chance, I broke free and sprinted into the clothing boutique, weaving my way to the dressing rooms, and that's when I froze. Julian Croft was inside the dressing room with Isabella. She stepped back, but Julian grabbed her arm. Bella, backing out of the engagement party, humiliated my family. She yanked her arm free. Marriage is a serious decision. I need more time to think. What's there to think about? Julian snapped. Hurry up and marry into the Croft family so I can get on with my life, inherit my fortune, and find myself a supermodel. You need time? Fine, I'll give you time. Let's just get engaged officially, and we'll deal with the rest later. Don't do it, Isabella. The Crofts are the most powerful family in the state. They've got money and trained fighters.
What are you afraid of?
As I hesitated, Julian suddenly pulled out a small spray bottle and misted Isabella's face twice. Her body immediately went limp. Then a section of the wall swung open, revealing a hidden door. Julian wiped his nose and ordered coldly, "Take her. Do whatever you want." A greedy look spread across his two henchmen's faces. They reached to catch Isabella's falling body, but before they could touch her, a deafening shout rang out. "Fire! Somebody's starting a fire!" I yelled again, grabbed a nearby stool, and charged forward. A couple of solid thwacks later, I was holding Isabella upright. "You're just the adopted son," Julian snarled. "I'd advise you not to get involved in things that don't concern you. I recorded everything," I bluffed. "Posted it all over social media. Unless you want to go viral for the worst reasons, back off." The truth. I couldn't just stand by and watch her get dragged off. I was practically raised to be her husband. Just then, two shoppers in civilian clothes burst in carrying fire extinguishers. Hearing my shouts, they had come running. With witnesses present, Julian had no choice but to leave with his men. 3 hours later, Isabella, fully recovered, had the chefs prepare a meal of all my favorite dishes. She pointed at 3 glasses filled to the brim with whiskey. "Made me angry today. You're going to drink all 3 as punishment." I stared at them. What is she planning? Is she trying to get me drunk and then take advantage of me? No way. I'm a pure man. My first time has to be with someone I truly love. I pushed the glasses away and poured myself water. "Isabella, I've quit drinking. I only drink tea now." The moment I sat down, she pounced. She pried my mouth open and poured the whiskey straight down my throat. I fought back, but dizziness washed over me. "No. No. What do you mean, no?" Her husky whisper tickled my ear. "Ethan, that protagonist you were thinking about." What does that mean? Her perfume filled my senses, making my head spin. But I couldn't reveal the truth that I was. From another world? Protagonist. It's just a name, I muttered. No, this is bad. If this keeps up, she'd drag the secret out of me. I grabbed the other 2 glasses and downed them in one go. My body burned, my head heavy. In my dreams, there were tangled limbs and whispered words. I woke up completely drained, head pounding. And there she was, Isabella, lying right beside me. Oh my God, looks like what happened last night was real. I'm a transmigrator. Yet I just got taken advantage of like that. Quietly, I got up, dressed, and headed downstairs. The moment I reached the hall, a maid rushed toward me in a panic. "Mr. Ethan, it's terrible. Mr. and Mrs. Vance have been kidnapped." Kidnapped. Robert Vance was the head of the family. Never left the house without at least a dozen bodyguards. Who could pull off something like that? Wait, it had to be Julian. He must be desperate by now. I ran back upstairs, grabbed the demon horn, and made my way to the new location of the children's home. After handing out some gifts, I was just about to leave with the horn when a quiet, handsome boy walked up to me. "Mister, can I have that horn?" I held it up, testing him. "If you can tell me where it came from and what it does, it's yours." The boy Leo studied the horn carefully, his hand on his chin. Then he said, "That's the horn of an ancient celestial demon ox. It helps a person draw out their latent energy." Latent energy? Was that even real in this world? Leo raised his hand, and a glowing orb of light appeared in his palm. With a flick, he sent a spark into the horn. Instantly, black smoke began to seep out. "The energy in this world is almost gone," he explained. "If I absorb this demonic energy, I can awaken and reach the first stage." The first stage? He's starting his power-up journey already? I handed him the horn without hesitation, and followed him to a quiet spot. The black gas poured into his forehead, twisting his body in pain, until it finally turned into a pure white aura. When Leo opened his eyes, I froze. He looked 5 years older. You can just age up instantly? I asked, stunned. He didn't answer. Instead, he pinched his fingers like he was calculating something and said, "Let's go. If we're late, your $10 billion fortune will be gone." I scrambled to keep up and even opened the car door for him. Following his directions, we drove. For 2 hours until we reached a secluded mountain villa. Just as I hit the brakes, an old man dropped from the sky, planting his foot in front of the car and stopping it dead. I rolled down the window. "Hey buddy, if this is some kind of insurance scam, forget it. I'm rich, I can afford to run you over." Whoosh. A flash of steel grazed past my face. So close I thought I saw my late grandmother waving at me. Leo opened his door. "Stay in the car. I'll handle him," Leo said. He walked up just a 4-foot-tall boy and threw a tiny punch. The old man scoffed. "I don't fight children. Get lost before." His expression froze mid-sentence as a surge of pure energy exploded from Leo's fist. Thump. The old man dropped to his knees. Junior Bronson is at the senior's command. He stamped her. "Are you kidding me?" He just knelt. Leo and the old man disappeared inside the villa. Moments later, they came back out with Robert and Catherine Vance completely unharmed. Back at the estate, we learned Isabella had gone to the company headquarters after getting a message from Julian. I rushed Leo back into the car. "Hey! Leo, do you think I could ever get powers like yours?" "No," he answered flatly. "Cultivators need natural talent. Your body isn't even suited for basic martial arts, but don't worry. I'll make some pills for you. A few hundred. Extra years of life won't be a problem." Then he added, "My new godfather, please accept this disciple's bow." I slammed the accelerator and sped toward the Vance Tower downtown. We arrived just in time to see Julian holding a riding crop standing over a tied-up Isabella. A few quick punches later, Julian was out cold. I brought Leo to the rooftop office. "Leo, my man, from now on you're the vice president of this company. Use the money however you want. Go on, protagonist, do your thing. Next year, your big brother will even get you a few more sisters-in-law." Just as I was patting myself on the back, a chill ran down my spine. Isabella had grabbed my ear in a painful grip. "What's that? You want a few more? Honey, ouch. Let go." Wait, how did she know what I was thinking?